I'm glad to welcome those of you who are here and those who to come to Cooper Hewitt. I hope you've all had a chance to see what I think is a wonderful exhibition, not because I had quite a bit to do with it, but because really it is an extraordinary example of what this museum is about, which is working with a contemporary designer, Ted Muehling, to look at a collection that spans about 180 years of Lobmeyr glass. This exhibition was very much the product of our being able to acquire this group of glass directly from the Lobmeyr firm, from their archival collection of where they actually had pieces that were made from the year in which it was designed and which they'd held aside. So it gave us a very good example to document the development of glass in the 19th and 20th centuries and even into the 21st through one of the principal purveyors of glass in Central Europe and certainly even around the world. So Lobmeyr is, as a design museum, we felt that Lobmeyr formed an excellent source of information on design in this medium, and we do look at things from different media. And also because they hired outside designers, such as Josef Hoffman and others who worked in a variety of media. And this was true of Ted Muehling, the designer with whom I worked on this exhibition, who very much worked with Lobmeyr glass to design pieces himself, but at the same time appreciated the historic archives. So it is very much in this spirit that we are very grateful to the Austrian Cultural Forum for supporting 2 lectures, of which this is the first, on the subject of Vienna and of glass design and of other decorative arts in Vienna, to support this exhibition, because this particular glass does not, not exist in a vacuum. It exists as part of a larger decorative arts history, and I think it's something that all of us would like to know more about. And we hope that Annette Ahrens will tell us more about it. Annette has studied both economics and art history in Vienna and Prague, and this is particularly relevant in this case because a lot of the Lobmeyr actual glassworks were in Bohemia and continued on in what was then Czechoslovakia, and very much became both a Austro-Hungarian Empire glass firm and an Austrian and Czech production. She has done a number of consulting works for auction houses in Vienna, also as a research assistant at MAK, the Angewandte Kunst, the Applied Arts Museum and school in Vienna, and most recently did a great amount of research for the Melinda and Paul Sullivan Foundation of Decorative Arts on the Dupaquier porcelain project, which ended up in the publication of 3 enormously heavy and heavy with information too, volumes on the very rare factory of Dupaquier that existed in Vienna in the 18th century. She has recently curated an exhibition at the Liechtenstein Museum on ceremonies, feasts, and costumes, and has had a number of other private consulting and projects and consulting to collectors and dealing in a number of different periods of decorative arts. The ceremonies, feasts, costumes, and Viennese porcelain figures during the reign of Maria Theresia, which is about to, or it's just opened in Vienna, will be on through April, and that is a project that she has been working on and will continue, as well as the showpieces of neoclassical porcelain from the Martin Museum in Zagreb, which has in fact just closed at the Liechtenstein Museum. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Annette to Cooper Hewitt and look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you very much for your words, Sarah. First of all, I have to thank my friend Dirk Meiwes, because he was the person who introduced each other years ago. And years ago, so began a very warm relationship between you as a curator of the Cooper Hewitt Design Museum and Europe, between New York and Vienna. Then I would like to thank to Irene. I do not see her. Thank you very much for the very exceptional, because uncomplicated communication between us. Thank you very much. And even I have to thank you to the generous support of the Austrian Cultural Forum, which makes possible that I'm here tonight. Thank you very much. And because the subject I'm talking about is glass, I just would like to make a toast of myself tonight. So, thank you. Maybe the fascination about drinking in Vienna, not only dining. The art of dining through the ages is a relatively neglected aspect of the social and artistic life, and a very rich and powerful, which affords much interest to those with interest in different artistic disciplines. Probably best known to students and collectors of silver and ceramics, dining was in fact an all-encompassing social ritual where the Lord went to extreme lengths in many fields to demonstrate his taste, wealth, and social standing. Maybe I have to start a little bit earlier, because I would like to explain why or when glass were used on the tables and where it comes from. Here I'm showing a very famous picture, which is in Vienna from the 70s, 60s. It's a painting by Martin von Meitens, which shows a fest given at the Hofburg Palace in Vienna before the marriage of the future Josef II to Princess Isabella of Parma. And it gives us a wonderful sense of royal dining à la française at the most formal level. A more informal style of dining arose that rapidly became known throughout Europe. As before, the meal was divided into 2 or more courses, followed by a dessert consisting of fruits and jams. The essential point was all the separate dishes in each course were laid out around the table symmetrically in groups at 4 at the same time and kept warm by means of covers or under dishes of hot water. On the other hand, at the wedding feast at the Hofburg Palace in 70-60, everything on the table, the tureens, the plates, the individual salt boxes and cutlery, is either gold or silver gilt. It was considered extremely bad form for the servants to serve the dinner or to disturb the dishes once the table was set. So even a glass was in danger to be demolished by manipulation by the servants with these big known spoons to serve the food. In the painting, you see below, the Austrian royal family sits on a raised dais very much as stood on stage. Servants number more than 1 per guest, an abundance that was typical at such state banquets. More modest households aimed for a ratio of 1 servant to 4 guests, and it was not unusual for guests to come with their own footman to make up the shortfall. You see, even here in this time, that we don't have any glasses. That's a plan, a situation for a dessert table setting. I would like to show you how porcelain was used in that time. Unfortunately, we do not have any plans for Vienna, so I can only show you a Berlin plan from this time. But you see in the center of the table was a metal or a glass container for condiments or spices called surtout de table, which became a decorative feature on its own right. Gardens, architecture, and pastoral scenes were evoked firstly in the sugar and then in porcelain to provide a backdrop for the fresh and sugared fruits, sweetmeats, jams, jellies, and creams. But where are the glasses for drinking sweet Tokay? Here I show you now my beloved painting from 1766, hanging in a little town in Lorraine in northeastern France, which shows us how glass was served at that time. The function of the servants was not only to pass around the oil and vinegar and bread, but also to replenish the drinking glasses after washing them at the sideboard, fontaine or cistern. The servant offered the glass on a silver dish called tazza, and the guest had to use it as a stirrup cup. I was not sure to find the right expression in English, just to drink it eggs or in one time. Maybe even today a wonderful habit in hunting circles, but no more. In April 1810, a fest was given in Paris to celebrate the wedding of Napoleon. At this level, table decorations were an aspect of political and social prestige and required the skills of the finest artists and craftsmen of the time. I show you here a detail of the marriage. Do we see any glasses on the table? What we do see is these biscuit figurines with pièces montées in the form of antique sculpture crafted by the pâtissier Carême, which were displayed on the tables between huge candelabras and vases of bronze. I show you a new installation of our Silberkammer in Vienna, where we try to reconstruct this impression of table decoration, which is not exactly right because this glass service of muslin glass is rather later than the installation. But who knows? Maybe you after this lecture. It was extremely difficult to find an illustration from the Biedermeier period of a dress table. I have no idea why. But by the mid of the 19th century, service à la française was becoming too burdensome, both in substance and function or fashion, for everyday dining. As early as in the 1830s, Russian Prince Kurakin introduced to Paris society a method of service from his homeland, which the French dubbed service à la Russe. By the 1830s, most households had adopted this new fashion of dining, imported from Russia, whereby each dish was carved or jointed at the sideboard and served individually in succession, although it required more servants and cutlery. Just to remember, the main difference between service à la Russe and service à la Française is a matter of time and space. In service à la Russe, in service à la Française, the dishes, at least in each course, are arranged spatially but presented to guests all at once. In service à la Russe, the dishes are arranged temporarily, served in succession after one another. Plus, the dishes are all offered to the guests by waiters, not passed by the guest. Instead of offering each guest a different assortment of dishes, everyone now is offered the same dish throughout the meal. With the gradual transformation of lifestyle and dining culture from the middle of the 18th century, a whole range of new types of utility as well as decorative glass was emerging. Drinking glasses became even more differentiated, with special types of glassware being made for specific beverages. Following the example of France and its dining culture, Bohemian glassware included a great variety of goblets, beakers, decanters, bottles, and jugs for different kinds of wine, for liqueurs, and above all for water. Sets intended for sugar water, the old-fashioned form of Coca-Cola, included a decanter, a beaker, a sugar bowl, and the glass for the arak. I show you here the Vienna Imperial Palace because Lobmeyr was designed his first drinking service for this imperial residence. And unlike other imperial residences, The vast complex of the Vienna Hofburg is not a single building commissioned by one monarch, but rather a monument to the history of the Austrian Empire and, in particular, the Habsburgs, which grew and expanded over the centuries. From Ferdinand I, the first Habsburg, to feel really at home in Vienna, to Francis Joseph I, the emperor of the last year of peace the monarchy enjoyed, virtually each of the Austrian rulers added a wing, a section, or a richly decorated facade to the gigant building surrounding the original small castle. Joseph LoveMaya designed his drinking service in the year 1835. It was really an innovation of glass services for the table culture. We've seen on the left-hand side a very raw, strange object. Does anybody know for what this green glass is? It's so-called Rhine wine glass, which started here with the specific specification of glasses and ends up at the end of the 19th century. I think today the company of Riedel is not offering a Rhine wine glass. So the Hofburg suite was executed by Lokmanya for the imperial court at Vienna. Even today it is on view in the palace as part of the imperial collection, and is in fact still used today for special receptions of the Austrian federal president. Hand-cut and polished with its extravagant shape, it remains one of the greatest imperial crystal suites ever produced. I've seen your exhibitions, which I very love to see today, that you even show the steps of production. So that's the reason why I'm not saying it again. But what was the role of glass objects in the life of the first half of the 19th century? Just to remember it again, the statistic shows a growing volume of production of sheet glass and of laboratory glass, for which demand was growing in other industrial sectors. But we shall focus on luxury, decorative, and drinking glass. The fascination for crystal has been the driving force behind Lobmeyr for almost 200 years. In 1823, Josef Lobmeyr Sr. founds the company in Vienna Weiburgasse and soon becomes the purveyor to the imperial court. I show you here a detail from his business card, which has been produced before 1850. In the beginning, maybe that's interesting, he sold products of different manufacturers representing the most important Bohemian glass factories in Vienna. He first purchased his glassware from Blechinger in Bohemia, from the glassworks of Count Buquois in Silverberg, from Paul in Neuwelt, as well as Joseph Meyer Neffe in Adolf and Eleanor in Rhine in southern Bohemia. Later, he commissioned his works or his own designs in the Harrach glassworks in Bohr. Just to remember where we are in Europe. See the Vienna in the middle, and the Czech Republic is in the north of Austria. Even in a newspaper of 1823, I read some points about the dimension of Bohemian glass workers. Bohemia has the most numerous and the largest glass-making factories, 78 smelting works with 3,821 workers were counted as early as some years ago. It's enormous, isn't it? In that time, just to remember. These are the cities or the villages, the small villages I mentioned before. I would like to, you see, Ernstbrunn, it's down here. It's Arnoštov in Czech today. Then Stříbrný vrch is Silverberg, and Zlatá studně is Goldbrunn. The company of Josef Meyer in 1850 was established in 1850 and owned a number of glassworks. After the death of Joseph's childless son, Johann Meyer, he married the daughter, Louise. So you see there was a very close, even familiar relationship between the families. Another very interesting drinking service he designed in 1856, which is really a surprise. I should have asked you when the design is the drinking service number 4. For those who are interested in, I brought some prospects from Lobmeyr family over, so you can check everything I'm telling you on this sheet. This drinking service was designed in 1856. Ludwig Lobmeyr introduced it for the period as a simple design, still a design icon today. It is a very special glass. It's a muslin glass, and it's only one of about 100 designs Ludwig Lobmeyr did himself for the company. This clear shape and his fine light appearance make it special for the time and a classic even today. Just to remember, that was one of these feasts in Vienna. It's a dinner at Schönbrunn Castle in 1857, just 1 year later, where even that glass service was on the table. We do not see it here, but it was there. You see this, the Baroque table decoration is gone. The large table centerpiece is designed now to make a big formal impression, and these were replaced by a considerable but smaller decoration with these huge vases. Another very famous architect working for Lobmeyr family is Hoffmann Hanson. He did a lot of designs for Lobmeyr. He was Lobmeyr was a founder of the Museum for Applied Arts in Vienna, and it's the time where even the Victorian Albert Museum in London or in Budapest were opened. And so he first got in contact with this Danish architect in 1864 in Vienna. I show you his most important building in Vienna on the Ringstraße, the parliament for the Austrian government. Before coming to Vienna, Hoffmann Hanson was working in a team in Greece, and so he has been working in Vienna since 1864 and designed this lovely showed up drinking service for Lobmeyr, which is the service number 103. It was designed in 1866. I show you here the cut of this service. And here an old photograph of a bottle and his signature of one designs which are kept in the archive of Lobmeyr in Vienna. He designed his drinking service with these Greek engravings, inspired by engraved crystalware from England, where Greek forms and motifs were already propagated. But in most cases, we know, Hoffmann Hanson refused payment for his work. It was really a very close relationship between Lobmeyr and Hoffmann Hanson. Now I show you an old photograph of the World Exhibition in the year 1867, where Lobmeyr looked for contacts with artists all over the world. And in that case, even Hoffmann Hanson, he was the designer of the general exhibition, of the layout, and even the design of the showcases are from him. Very similar looks this installation. That's the store, the shop on the Kärntner Straße, where the Lobmeyr family is until today. It shows the situation about 1895 and shows us even the situation that Lobmeyr was a specialist in chandeliers. In the year 1883, he delivered the first electric chandelier that was really a worldwide sensation to Vienna's Imperial Palace. And maybe just to remember, the interiors were larger than today, but the demand for chandeliers was big. And so he provided illumination of individual workplaces. Large chandeliers were used in the households of the richest aristocrats and in public places such as ballrooms. Even today, we have more than 300 balls in Vienna during the season. So these chandeliers were produced by many glassworks in North Bohemia. For example, as I have told you before, the Harrach glassworks. That's the store today. In front are the sixth generation of the Lobmeyr family. And that was last Friday, where I asked Leonid Rath to come over with some books of his wonderful archive. I'm sure Sarah knows it better than I do. I just wanted to open him this order book. So you see, for instance, that it's an order book from the 1913. And very, very famous families ordered glassworks or glass services in the time. So for the New York situation, I looked for this Fürstin Paar, which should be known in New York. This Count Paar, he ordered 4 water bottles, 12 water glasses, and 20 finger bowls. These finger bowls are unusual today, but even if we are looking at the designs of Oswald Hertel in the 2020s, even he designed finger bowls. I have no idea why we have lost this tradition in table culture today. The Palipar should be known because it's very embarrassing for Vienna, but the saloon or the dining room is now kept in the Metropolitan Museum in the period rooms. It's one of the most important things there. Unfortunately, this palais was demolished in the 1938 in Vienna, not because it was in such bad condition, but because there was no interest for palais in that time. I'm going to show you this because just to show you how interiors looked like in Vienna about 1900. That was something very elegant. Here you see Lobmeyr's private dining room in Vienna. It was in the year 1895. And he was designing even for himself a glass service, which first of all nobody else could order. It was just for himself. It's called Herrenservice. I've read a very nice translation of Gentleman's Service today in your exhibition. I show you here maybe an unknown photograph of a table setting at Lobmeyr's home where he used this special service. It was designed in 1871. I show you here you see the centerpiece, which is made out of glass by Lokmanya with this decoration, and the silver was mounted by Klinkers, which is a very famous Silverberg family or dynasty in Vienna. You see it here much more closer. Here's the wonderful cut for this service. And here we see an installation I've never seen before because I didn't know that this embroidery exists. Who has it? Is it in the...
That belongs to the family.
Oh, well, okay, I see. Just to remember what the glasses are for, has anybody an idea? So the left hand is not for beer, it was designed for water. The next is for white wine. The another one, for sherry. This is another. Then we have the Rhine wine again. Then the big one is for champagne, and the other one is for wine again. What's interesting in that case, that he, Lobmeyr, tried to establish a Gesamtkunstwerk at his home, so everything on the table fits together. So not only the table clothing as the embroidered thing here, even the porcelain had this same pattern, which was ordered in Bohemia at this terrain at Fischer and Mierk company, which was located in Karlsbad. Here I show you one of the first entries of Lobmeyr on the American floor. It was the international exhibition in Philadelphia, where he had a huge stand just to show his production here in these lands. Lobmeyr was very proud to deliver glass for the imperial family. That's the letter of Crown Prince Rudolf from the 1885, which I would like to translate partly, because he was looking for a birthday gift regarding the 50th birthday of the Belgian king. So he's writing, "Dear Philip, I have gone into some troubles regarding the gift for the birthday of our father-in-law, and have come to the conclusion that beautiful object of glass from the Lobmeyr factory would be most suitable. They are an Austrian specialty and represent the best that our industry produces." Here I'm showing you one of the most famous drinking services. It's number 193 by Lobmeyr. It was designed in the 1890s in Vienna, and it is named after, it's named Mousseline glass service, what is named after a very finely woven French fabric. Maybe you do not know that. And this is a crystal blown to a thickness of only 0.7 till 1 millimeters. But it's extremely, elastic. You can really move the body and nothing happened to it. Even it's unforgettable to touch it with your lips. I like to ask you to take it once in your life and drink a glass of wine out of it. Here I show you again at tables. It's really hard to find old photographs with table settings. I really would be happy if you see something somewhere. Please contact me, because I wanted to show how it was used or common into breast tables in Vienna about 1900. The reason why I would like to show you that is just that you understand better the innovation of Wiener Werkstätte, what they did. Wiener Werkstätte was founded 3 years later. And I show you now as a shock, or maybe as a very nice thing for your eyes, the installation of a Hochzeitstisch, of a wedding table, which was designed by Wiener Werkstätte for an exhibition, the dress table, in 1906. So the Wiener Werkstätte was established 1903. It's maybe Vienna Workshop, it's the best translation. And this was a production community of visual artists. They tried to bring together architects, artists and designers whose first commitment was to design art which would be accessible to everyone. What is not really right, because the objects were extremely expensive, and it's like to buy a Menotti sofa today. And the circle of customers of the Wiener Werkstätte and Josef Hoffman mainly consisted of artists and the open-minded, progressive, and financially well-to-do Jewish upper middle class. We should not forget that. So it was not open to everyone. Here I would like to show you some very nice design of Hilde from 1990. It's a so-called X-glass again. I don't know the name again in English, how to call it if you have to drink the glass in one way, a shot glass. And a very interesting design for a perfume bottle from Oeste Catalog. And he has got the design prize for his perfume bottle. I have no idea why. Here I show you a very beloved picture of the Wiener Werkstätte ladies, which were forced to sell honey bread on one feast, dressed in this very nice clothes. And another very famous picture of a reform Clyde from 1905, just to get the spirit of the Wiener Werkstätte, or how different she was. I think Köllermann Mose did not so many or none designed for Lobmeyr, but Josef Hoffman did a lot. So just to remember how he looks like, or how he knew to sit up here in this wonderful chair. The friendship between Stefan Rath, the owner of the Lobmeyr factory in this time, and Josef Hoffman started in 1910. And compared to the historism I showed you before, this was a totally modern movement. Even when they tried to copy shapes from the Biedermeier period. On the left-hand side, I'm going to show you a sugar box from the 1830s, made out of silver. And on the right-hand side, a vase called by the Kastel Hoffmann, which is a particular, very typical pattern for Josef Hoffman, are these geometrical designs. It's really hard to find some installations of table in the time again. So on the picture I could find is this credenza, is this sideboard with the Wiener Werkstätte dishes and some glasses on it. I mean, you know these pieces because there's been recently an exhibition very close to your house in the Neue Galerie. So you see the shapes became very geometric and more reduced. Even Stefan Rath wanted to demonstrate that in his glass designs. So here he asked Josef Hoffman to design goblets for him. I've seen these are not shown in the exhibition, so I'm happy to show it to you now and not to repeat what you have seen upstairs. He designed in the year 1910 till 13 many goblets and in colorless cut glass. And he just tried to combine different shapes of bowl with round or square base, you see it below, and just used different type of cutting, where here few examples are given. I show you even the executed ones. You see even the matter of cutting was very heavy for the craftsmen, and the polishing was in 3 steps or more and had to be done very carefully not to take away the crispness. And this representative selection of these glasses were presented at the Werkbund exhibition in Cologne and was sold through the stores by Wiener Werkstätte. If you've seen here, there's written something in red, which I would like to explain you what it is. So the designer Josef Hoffman had very nice ideas, but unfortunately it was nicht ausführbar, what means not executable. I show his portrait again. And the very famous drinking service for Lobmeyr, number 238, the so-called patrician service. That's a name which has been given only for export reasons. So in Vienna we do not know it so much as you maybe. It was designed by Hoffman already in 1917, which maybe surprises a little bit. If you were forced to date it, you would mean it's 10 years later. Even the material again is very fine. It is the muslin glass again, and initially it was referred as a bell-shaped with high straw stem. But Hoffman designed a bottle, then several glasses for wine, water again, what we do not see, a finger bowl again, and what's interesting, the bottle plug was a small drinking cup again. The plug, the bottle, the stopper. These glasses were executed in several glassworks, mainly at Karlsbad by Ludwig Moser, and the service is in production until today. So if you would like to have it, you can order it. Here I'm showing you some other pieces which Josef Hoffman designed a few years later for the Austrian porcelain manufactory, which was reopened in 1923. It's called Augarten, and that's very rare on the market, this design for this service. It was recently sold at the auction house in Vienna. I've no idea where this pattern is from. I just wanted to show you this very extraordinary interior design by Adolf Loos, which was done in 1903 for his wife. And so Adolf Loos had a very special idea of bedroom and his wife in that time. It was done for Lina Loos. That's a design for interior by Josef Hoffman for the Markov family, where everything was black and white. And I wanted to show you this very famous service by Josef Hoffman, which was designed for Augarten in 1925. We do see it here in black and white. And now I would like to ask you how old this design is, because we do have other colors as well. So how old is the black and white idea? The original colors which Josef Hoffman designed are, first of all, the yellow one, and which is on display in your shop as well, and the blue one. And the difference between old executed Augarten porcelain and new one is very hard to see. But just to remember, if you see here, the colored fields are on the cannelure, and in the old on the old services they try to change it. You know, it's over the two cannelures as well. Adolf Loos, in the age of 2. I'm sure you would not recognize him. He's one of the founders of the modern architecture, the apostle of the principle, and really a very important man for the development of architecture, not even in Vienna. I show here a picture which is in the collection of the Albertina in Vienna, and not really known. In 1897, Adolf Loos opened his first atelier in Vienna, and while at the same time he started to publish his critical articles on contemporary architecture, crafts and aesthetics. Just to show you a situation in Vienna, he designed the famous Café Museum in 1899. Keep in mind the other interiors I showed you before, so it was very unusual for the time. And so 1899 he realized this first significant architectural work, and in Vienna it was called Café Nihilismus, because people did not prefer this style. 10 years later he designed the famous Michaela House. Even that house was not very loved because even he was called the building without eyebrows. You see it just in front of the Imperial Palace I showed you before, and so the city of Vienna forced him to fix these boxes for the flowers under the windows because it was too modern for the situation. He was really too modern. I just wanted to show you these extraordinary chandeliers he designed in this year for the shop which was located in this house. And I tried to find some pictures where Adolf Loos is eating or drinking out of his own glass, but it's impossible, unfortunately. Here I found a picture eating a soup in Bohemia in 1929, and holding a glass which I cannot define if it's Lobmeyr or not. Maybe not, when it's in Bad Hall. What I want to tell you at Adolf Loos' very, very modern design is just do not forget how differentiated the culture of wine drinking was. There's a philosophy that you have to take A for the Bordeaux red wine, then B for the Bordeaux white wine, C for Alsace, D you should take just for Burgunder red, E for Burgunder white. The F is for wine from Anjou, and so on. So I do have the impression nobody knows for what to take this glass of wine. So what Adolf Loos decided is just to reduce the forms for so many wines, and he designed this glass on the right-hand side and said everything is for wine or for water, however. Just to explain how innovative this design is, it's from the 30s, it's the drinking service 248, and as he was asked to bring a design, he delivered only a white sheet of paper with 5 drawn rectangles, and he was only willing on inquiry to explain his sketch. The shape of the cup goes back to Oscar Stannard and was refined by Loos with this diamond cutting, the Steindelschnitt, in the bottom. He reduces the shape to this cup form which served in different sizes for wine, beer and water. Even the jug, as the bottle, have the cylindrical basic form. So for technical reasons, the plug was produced in a simplified form between 1963 and 1995, but today you can buy it again in this original disc-shaped design. I think that is internationally one of the best-known services by Lokmanya, and it is still produced by the same glassworks in southern Bohemia. It's the company Zahn and Köpfert in Kwietna, what is Blumenbach. It's very close to the Slovak border in Moravia. The same idea of drinking was designed in 2001. Is the bowl of liquid skin. You have it in your shop as well. I have seen it in the sign shop. So where Adolf Loos' water set with a cut base was the form before it. And she tried to find a very unconventional form for this liquid skin. So, who are these guys? All of them, as Oswald Hertel on the left, and Michael Powolny in the middle, and Oscar Stannard on the right-hand side, were working for LoveMaya and working for the exhibition of art decoratives in Paris in 1925. I show you here where he got the prize, the Grand Prix, so he's very proud to having it there today. maybe you don't know how Oskar Stonnert looked like. Here he is designing architecture. And I show you a drawing which is signed and dated 1917. Then we do have Oswald Hertel, I mentioned him before, who designed in 1924 the very famous service of Ambassador. Even that name is just for export reasons. It's a muslin glass execution again, and was done in Karlsbad. I show you a cut, which is not the best. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for the quality of the picture. Which I didn't know that these drawings, which are shown upstairs, were made by LoveMaya for Mrs. Miles Carpenter of New York. She purchased pieces from the Ambassador services in 1926, and they wanted to show her how it looks like. So on the far left-hand side, which you can unfortunately not see, but it's a very high glass, it was designed for mineral water. The next one is for normal water. Then you see a finger bowl, which has a long leg, which maybe is unusual. The next one is an ice cup, a special thing for the States, I think. And then you see these two famous covered candy boxes in two sizes, and a candlestick, which is also shown on the showcases upstairs. That's even a very nice service by Oswald Hertel, made out of silver. It was executed in the Klinkers manufactory as the centerpiece I've showed you from the Lobmeyer's table dressing. So even the silver works in Vienna were able to change her style. The next step on the American market of floor was the exhibition of Lobmeyr in '49, a year where I think in Austria nobody had even time or even a minute to think of exhibitions of decorative arts. Sarah, do you know, are there more pictures of the installation, or is there a catalog?
I've not seen them of the installation.
I only know this picture, and it looks very modern and unusual. They are not covered, the glasses. I don't know if somebody is allowed to touch it or not. It's impossible to show like that today. That is a design who Oswald Hertel did in the 50s. It's called Commodore, this service. But if you compare it with this very modern Lobmeyr service from the 19th century, you would not see really differences. I just show you this, the Daisy porcelain, which is an Austrian product of the 50s. And I mean that maybe Lobmeyr, designing these alpha colors, had this service in his mind. It's the drinking set 267. It's called Alpha. And it was designed in the 50s as well, 52. And the idea came from a medieval copper tumbler. And this is an influence from an Islamic shape. In that time, he's following the trend of glasses which can be stapled, like in the Frankfurter Küche. So it should be for a young household. It's muslin glass as well, and can be used as a cocktail tumbler, a water tumbler, a flower bowl, even a Salat Ball, and is now produced in 6 colors. On the left-hand side, you see the design from the 50s, and these colors are from 2009. Next design I would like to present you is Wolfgang von Versien, which did the design for Lobmeyr for the Triennale in Milano in the 50s. I love this cut. I've seen you, even you are showing this cut, so I'd like to show you. So the idea is similar to the Adolf Loos glasses. So you see no legs or no. So the wine glass could be even the water glass if you are not in the case. I could present many artists working for Lobmeyr, but I'm stopping here. But where's the table culture going? You know, first, is it the 19th century? Is this modern? Is this an installation by Spory? Or is it something what the Design Week installation did 2 months ago in Vienna? You do not see the dimension of this idea. Here you see how big it is. The idea of the designers, Korchoy from Prague, was how do a child being in the age of 5 entering a dress table. So everything is in the high of your eyes and you really feel small. So even these big glasses were executed by Lobmeyr. And another idea of the old European table culture, which I showed you in the beginning of my lecture with all the sugar paste on the table, was presented at the Design Week show as well. And even they tried they are inspired by the history of sugar and the import and even the high price which sugar had once in the time. The best known object from the Lobmeyr company, of course, is the famous chandelier here in the Metropolitan Opera. And I don't know if you know why he why he won this subject, because Brad was asked to send a design for the Metropolitan Opera, and he has no idea what to do. So what did he took? He took a piece of potato and was sitting in his kitchen and just wanted to do something very special. So he took this piece, pigs in it, like that, sent it to the States and said, "That's my design for your opera house." So thank you very much for your attention.
So, Annette, if you'd be willing, if anyone has any questions, I think this is wonderfully interesting and certainly some terrific early photographs which document these pieces that we would certainly love to have copies of. Some of those pieces you may not have mentioned, but you would see on the table the decanters from the cut edge decanters and so on, a number of them showing you a great deal about some of the objects and the way they would have been used, which is just exactly part of the point, is to see the context, and that is very much what we were hoping to get. So, as I said, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask.
When I didn't get it, I'm sorry, I didn't understand it. When were the glasses introduced on the table?
Very late, so mid-19th century. Or you know, the first design is for the Imperial Palais, yeah. But you know, it's Lobmeyer's service, yeah.
But what was happening before? They would drink and the glasses were taken away.
Uh-huh. There were wine glasses and so forth, yeah. But they would frequently change the wines and rinse them out in between, or just take them.
I think the point was, you know, the beverage was always in the right temperature, you know, bringing the glass filled up with the liquid, so you have to drink it immediately, and that's it. Yeah. The other thing was even the design on the table. There was no space for it, and it was too dangerous having this very rare material of glass on the table, because the servant was coming with his long spoon and doing like that on the table just to offer you the food. So it would be dangerous to handle with so many glasses on the table. I think that's, yeah, it's one of the main points to know about glass.
There's a secondary point, which is perhaps less true in Austria, which has more of a white wine culture. But in most wine drinking, one of the most, but in general for dining, one of the most expensive things were the tablecloths and the linens, and they were very conscious, particularly with red wine, of spillage, and the idea that this would really be a major problem to clean, and obviously pre-dishwasher, clean clothing washer machine. So that they were thinking also about preserving the textiles, which are a very major cost in the presentation.
Maybe you see. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry.
The image you
you see exactly. You know, that's unusual. But here the wine coolers next to the chairs of each guest. It's very luxury situation. Normally it was. Maybe you know it from the English households. This huge silver baskets or wine coolers. You know, even for that reasons. And you see the servants with the glasses on it. I think this picture was unknown. It was published 10 years ago for an exhibition in Berlin. It's just a very rare document of this habit.
Actually, one of the other banquet pictures has some of the servants holding the glasses, right?
That one, yeah.
No, it's further along. It's after this. There's another one. There.
Yeah, here you see it again.
You see in the man in the red jacket, he's holding a glass, and then there's another one behind the ladies of the court. Well, thank you very much. It was a wonderfully interesting presentation, and we're so grateful to you and for adding a number of new documentary photographs for our benefit of further telling the story of both Viennese table design. And that is really what is up on display is, although we do have some other works that are not for the table, Ted Muehling was very interested in the works for the table, so that is very much what is featured upstairs, but now we see it in the broader context of dining in general and specifically the table culture design for table from Vienna. Thank you so much.
Not at all.